Welcome, friends. Today we are doing a top 20 video. What? And the top 20 we are doing today is my top 20 pickups of 2022. Marvelous. So, this video should have been done last week, but wasn't, and the reason it wasn't is because I have been quite unwell. But I'm feeling a bit better now, and so I was dying to do a video, and here I am, doing a video. Lists. I'm not a big fan of lists, to be honest, and it's only because they're so ubiquitous now. They're everywhere all the time. Some channels only do lists. It could never be me, because I would just get fucking bored. I don't know how these people don't just get fucking bored, you know? I mean, there is a time and a place for lists. I like watching the occasional list video, you know? But I couldn't eat one every day, you know? So, hopefully this list video, will pique your attention and you will enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed compiling it. And I have enjoyed compiling it. I do like a good list, just not necessarily fragrance lists on the channel every day, you know? Anyhow, we will start at the end, number 20. And number 20 is a fragrance I wore a lot in the spring and summer of last year. It is a fragrance I picked up last year. All of these fragrances I bought in 2022. They weren't released in 2022, as you will come to see. But this is a bottle of Les Indomables Escale en Haiti. This is one of their cologne offerings. It is fresh, light, airy, lovely vetiver note. Absolutely brilliantly blended. Brilliant fucking ingredients, as everything from the brand is. You know, brilliantly made. Brilliantly selected ingredients, the finest palette of ingredients possibly in the game, you know, the true heirs to Patou in that regard, you know. And I wore this, I think, when I went to meet some friends in Manchester. And I took the bottle with us so I could reapply, and I did reapply, and it was good. Don't be afraid to reapply, as BFL would say. And that was right. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. But yes, this is mainly all about vetiver. I get some kind of like airy push, like ambroxan ambergris kind of thing going on in the background. It's not listed as a note, but I definitely get that. I'm actually really looking forward to wearing this when the weather picks up again. Only got 7-8 weeks of the winter rotation left, so not long before I can wear this again. Anyhow, this was number 20, and it is Hériss. No, it's Escale en Haiti. Number 19 is Hériss. Sorry about that. Spoiled the surprise. This is my older bottle, and I love it. And I've got to be perfectly honest, One of, if not the main reason I wanted this is because of the bottle. It's got a bit more lasting power. The smell is basically identical between the new and the old. The performance is a bit better. In fact, it's considerably better. And it's a little bit deeper. Not necessarily richer, but deeper. The modern formulation is fantastic. And I would have bought that had I not had Anoush. And Anoush was able to find me this. But I absolutely love this bottle. I love it. I have no problem in telling you that this bottle is one of, if not the main reasons I bought this version of it. I was looking out for this bottle. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's got this aged waxy, almost, I don't want to say old woman, but it's got that kind of grand old lady kind of vibe to it, you know. Like well put together, it's smart, you know, in a very like female, wise old way, you know. Probably smells more sort of, I don't want to say aristocratic, but it's got this, it's got a soft power about it, you know, like a grand old lady. So yes, that is Herisse. Number 18. Number 18 was a gift from a friend. And you will recognise him. He is from the chat and he is called Spy and Mash. I won't say his real name because I don't know if he wants us to, but I've become very good friends with him and he is a lovely bloke. This is Incense Avignon by Comme des Garçons. This is probably the best incense perfume I own. I was looking, I mean, it's, I've said that now, you know, and I'm not sure because I think Bois de Cisse is a really good incense perfume too. Very smoky, very different though. This doesn't feature in the list, but I did buy that this year, you know. Incense Avignon is like an incense amber. It's a strange way to describe it. It's one of the longest lasting incense notes I've smelled. Don't know what kind of incense, I know what kind of incense, it's obviously like frankincense, but I don't know what kind of material they use to create the incense, because in most incense perfumes I've smelled, the incense note's gone within an hour. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. This seems to stick around. And I absolutely love it. The dry down's amazing. It's got myrrh and olibanum, a little bit of labdanum, which gives it that ambery sort of feel. A little bit creamy in the base. Wouldn't be surprised if there was like some tonka or some kind of like musky thing going on to give it that sort of longevity and smoothness towards the end, because incense can be quite abrasive and corrosive if you let it, which is part of the idea, you know. But yes, this was Incense Avignon, a gift from Spy and Mash. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it greatly. He didn't like it. So, number 17. Number 17 is a late arrival. And it was going to be higher on the list, because again, this was another gift from a friend. I absolutely love this stuff. I was looking for an older bottle and couldn't find one for love nor money. And then one day I got a package in the post, and it was from Anuj. And this package contained Iris Nazarena by Aedes Devanustus. This is iris and like a suede smooth leather. On the same day, on the exact same day that this arrived, I got another package, and it was from Poland, and it was from Natalia. And she had sent me a partial of the vintage. The smell exactly the same. I can't smell, if there is a difference, I can't smell it. So if there's a difference, it's defeated me. I don't know which bottle I prefer. I love both of them because they were both gifts from very special, good people that I have met on this journey. I am infinitely grateful that I know people who do these kinds of things for you, you know. Like I say, these were late arrivals in the year. Could have been higher. I'm not sure what kind of metrics I'm using these. I'm basically just doing it as like which ones I enjoyed or which ones I rate. There's all sorts of different reasons going into the placement of these. I find it very hard to explain. I might try and develop it or cultivate it, like the reasoning for it, and put it in the description or a pinned comment at the top of the video at some point. I know that the order's right. I couldn't give you like proper reason for it at the minute, you know. But anyway, this was number 17. Excuse me. Whilst I put these back, you live over there. So, number 16. Number 16 was a perfume I picked up earlier in the year after doing some extensive testing on the brand, which should narrow it down for you. I think this is the best of the line, if you want the truth. It's certainly my favourite from the line, and it's a fantastic fragrance. It is another amber, and it is Camel from Zoologist. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. This is like a dried fruit, pissy, sweet amber. You know, it's got a little bit of dryness to it. It's got a little bit of fruitiness to it. It's got a little bit of dirt, piss, a little bit of smokiness. It's an absolute triumph, I think. It's a fabulous fragrance. It's got resins in it. Fabulous. Brilliant fragrance, I think. Definitely the best from the line. I've also got B, which I like to wear in the summer, even though it's an amber, and like a sweet amber. And I've also got Hyrax, which I like to wear in deepest winter. I haven't plucked up the balls to wear it yet, but I'm going to. I will enjoy wearing that when I come to wear it. Anyhow, that was Camel. 2019, 17, 16, number 15. Number 15 was the first in this list, but not the last, that I bought from Peter Kokorin. Lovely Peter, who gave me very good prices on all the fragrances that he sold us, and I like to think I do the same for him. A nice lad, a very nice lad. But this is the first of a few from his collection that he was willing to part with, and this is Bond Number 9's New Harlem. Now, I found out that they've now re-released this. This was discontinued. I found out that they've re-released it, and it's $375. Don't, or at least try it first. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. There's going to be a lot of hydration. I'm still recovering from the ick, the big C. Not that big of a C. Not cancer, just the other C. Anyway, this is an American, like a New York breakfast. I was going to say an American breakfast, a New York breakfast. It's pancakes, it's maple syrup, it's coffee, it's ambery, sweet. There's a bit of darkness, not smoke. There's like a dark sweetness, you know. There's a bit of lavender I get at the top. I think it's an absolute triumph. I love it. I really do. By far their best fragrance. It's not a high bar, you know. It's not a high bar at all. So this was number 15. Oops. Number 14. Number 14 is from another house that I tested extensively, and I recommend that you do that when buying fragrances. This is from a house called Eris Parfums, and this is MXXX, or Mix, as they apparently call it. I don't know. I call it MXXX rather than MXXX because that takes takes too much effort. I don't know if I've worn this or not yet, but I'm really happy I've got this. Apparently it's a limited edition, and you know what that does to the occasional perfume collector. He has immediately prick up and start fretting that you're going to lose out. This is just a 50ml. I haven't got any backups. It's pretty expensive. I think it's about £177 for 50ml, which is Tom Ford territory, but frankly, it's better than anything Tom Ford's released for in the best part of 10 years now. Fabulous ingredients again. Antoine Lee's the perfumer, fantastic perfumer. Probably the best active perfumer in the world today, still making classic fragrances in a classic style with a classic build, you know, rather than the whole modern consumer counter perfumes. This is cacao, chocolate, ambergris. Sillage isn't great, but the lasting power is amazing. Don't know if I'm going to get myself a backup of this. I may do, because I wouldn't like to be without it. But that was number 14. This is number 13. Number 13 is another late arrival. A perfume I have sought for a long time. And this is Sycamore EDT by Chanel. I just prefer this version. I think it's lighter. I think it suits the fragrance better. In the same way that I think L'Ombre d'Onsleur by Diptyque suits being an EDT more than an EDP. I think this suits being an EDT more than an EDP. It has this kind of effervescence at the top, you know, something a little bit more fizzy, a little bit more bright that suits the fragrance. And I really like that about it. It's still got great lasting power. It's still got great projection. The colour has turned a little bit. I imagine that's because it's got vanilla in it. It's very dark, you know, but again, I really like it. So that there is number 13. Number 12. Number 12 is Iris Cendra. Iris Cendra by Naomi Goodsir. I bought 2 Naomi Goodsir and absolutely love them both. This one, I must admit though, is my favourite. It is released in 2015. The perfumer is Julien Rasquinet, probably one of the best young perfumers in the world. It has an outrageous iris note. Now, I think it's natural. I think there's a lot of it in here. But it's got this almost papery kind of vibe. You know, it's very clean, very fresh. It's a little bit less floral than Iris. And it's a little bit more sort of waxy. It doesn't go Dior Homme territory. It goes its own way. And it's very good at doing that. Just a shame it only comes in 50 mils, really. I was very excited to buy this once I had tried all the samples, and I'd decided that I wanted 2 from the line, of which the second is just back here. White Assis. That was number 12. Number 11. Number 11 is a perfume that I ummed and ahed about for a long time before deciding to buy it. But I'm glad that I did, and I think this is probably going to be my only fragrance from this genre that I own. Maybe that's a little harsh because I have got another one, but this is probably my favourite. This is Frederic Malle's The Night. I sold my bottle of the Moon, didn't like it. It was just a big, long, yawning amber wood. And I was pleased to get as much money back as I did for it. Malle's price increase didn't hurt though, I must admit. As far as getting my money back was concerned. So this is a Rose Oud. I've also got Oud Palau, but that's not real oud. This has got real oud in it. And it stinks. A very expensive fragrance. But again, I was very excited to finally decide that this one was the one for me. You can spend a lot of money on Bottnikoffs, on Aurige Ladors, on Ensar Oud, and they, for me, those brands are a little bit outside of my scope of what I want from perfume. I had the Aurige Ladors sample set, and I didn't really get on with any of them to the point where I thought I would buy any bottles. You know, they just weren't. It's not my thing. It's as simple as that. It's not my thing. They're nice and interesting, but this is about as far east as I'm going to go as far as ouds is concerned. You know, I'm not going to be one of those people who goes down the oud rabbit hole. It's just not my thing, you know. Anyway, that was, I believe, number 11. Yes, number 10. Number 10 is one of the surprises of the year. Is one of the best smelling perfumes I have had of this year. And after everything I've just said about Eastern perfume, I am going to contradict myself hugely by pulling out an Attar. It is by Amouage and it is called Al-Andalus. Al-Andalus. Now, to be fair, this is an Attar in a Western material, really. Rosemary, clary sage, lemon. It smells stunning. I'm very much looking forward to wearing this, and I will wear this spring and summer. It's clean, It's fresh, it's natural, it smells like something you would catch whiffs of when you were out walking in the Italian countryside. That's what it does for me. It smells like something you would smell on the wind, but very strongly, you know. It's absolutely gorgeous. This I smell this and apply this even when I'm like not wearing it, you know. So I'll wear my scent of the day, which today is Gucci Guilty Absolute, and I'll apply that, and then I might just put a swab of this on my wrist just so I can smell it throughout the day if I want to. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful thing. Alas, there are not many like it, you know. There are not many like it at all. I don't know what the other ones are like in this line. The prices are outrageous, but fortunately I bought this from Peter Kokorin again. The second perfume in this list I bought off him. And I love it. I think it is an absolutely incredible smell. So thank you, Peter. Okay, into the top 10. I'm just putting this back in its little box because it stays in its little box, believe that. Okay, so number 9. Yeah, number 9. This is a perfume I bought off my now friend from eBay called Sunny Mitra. Might do a little video about him. He's really struggling to sell some of the vintage stuff that he's got. If anybody in Britain is interested, he's got some great stuff for sale on his eBay account. Not affiliated. I just thought if you are watching this video and you are into vintage perfumes, you may wish to go over and have a look. But this is Rochas Macasa. This is it's a lot like Polo for men. The green one, Polo Green. But it's a little smokier, it's a little more leathery, a little bit more, I don't want to say more piney, but it's got that pine vibe to it. You know, extremely old school masculine sort of smell. Extremely unique these days. You know, compared to what perfume is selling, like what perfumes are selling now, this smells completely different to it. Very classic, very well made. I used to think Rochas was a fucking, like a clone brand. It was like how wrong I was, you know. This, I think this is the dreaded gas sprayer. I don't really care for it, but no, the gas sprayer I don't, but this is an absolute unicorn. You don't find these very often now. When you do, they're always scandalously priced, and again, this was off Sunny, so I got a decent price for it. So, came with its lid and its box. This is the original release, I believe. So that's always a boon for someone like me who likes to collect these type of things. So that was number 9. Number 8. Number 8 is also a Rochas. I got this in a haul from a Nouge earlier this year. And I do believe these are early 80s versions of this. And this is Rochas Femme. This is one of my favourites. One of my favourite smells. It's in the family, in the style of Opium. You know, the original Opium, not Opium Pour Homme. It has clove and like that plummy sort of accord, which which always reminds me of a little bit of booze. It doesn't necessarily smell boozy, this, but it has got like a a slightly altered conscious vibe about it. It's stunning. It's got this slight pissiness. It reminds me a little bit of Camel, except much more refined. Sorry, Victor. It's got a freshness, it's got a fruitiness, but it's also got a little bit of, like a tiny little bit of like this warm, fermenting, I don't want to say rot, but like offness, you know, it's just a little bit dirty. It's fantastic. Big oak moss, leather, florals like carnation and fucking rose in there, you know. It's got that classic sort of structure. Next, I think this is number 7. I hope it is. Oops. And this is Amber Absolute by Tom Ford. This is the final purchase of Peter Corcoran in this list, and again, this was a fantastic price, but these are not to be sold on. Well, I'm not going to sell them on, I'm going to use them. A rare beast. It's amber, it's incense, it's a little bit spicy, a little bit resinous. I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's like it's tobacco oud without the tobacco and the oud. And if you've ever smelled them next to each other, you'll know what I mean. It's very sad this was discontinued, but Tom Ford seems to do that. He always seems to discontinue his best perfumes, doesn't he? Which is a shame. But I really like this. Very dry, in the same or similar style of Au Cours du Desert by Andy Tower. Just a little bit fuller. This was made by Christophe Laudemiel, who very recently put the excuse me whilst I hydrate. Very recently put the formula on Instagram or eBay on Instagram, and Galen did a video where he tried to work out how much it would cost per bottle, and it came to like $2.50 or $3.50 or something silly like that, which is crazy when you consider what they get sold for even at retail. But yes, this was Amber Absolute, and I am delighted to own this. So this is number 6, and you will remember this if you are a fan of the channel, and I imagine you are if you're still watching. Thank you very much for watching, by the way. I'm just going to get some of the fingerprints off this. Let's see what Eugene has done to us. This is Cuir de Russie by Chanel. This has turned the same colour, or a similar colour, to Sycamore by Chanel. I don't know if you can see that. The sun has just come out, just to show you. Yeah, they've both obviously got a very similar chemical in that does that over time, and it's probably vanillin or something along those lines. This is excellent. This is much closer to my ideal of what I always thought Cuir de Russie should smell like compared to the Les Exclusives versions. I owned the Eau de Toilette, which I sold when I bought this. This is much richer and fuller and deeper, and I don't know if it's been reformulated in the Les Exclusives to smell weaker because of that's the trend people want in perfume. They don't want these deep, rich, pissy leather things anymore, or whether it's because they don't have access to the same palette. You know, I don't know whether it's a trend thing, or I don't know whether it's I don't know whether it's a conscious decision or whether they've had to do that because of the regulations, and they're just pleased that they're still able to put out a perfume resembling this. This is much richer, it's much deeper. It's much stronger, frankly, than the later editions, the less exclusives. And I'm very pleased to get it. I spent a lot of money on this. And hopefully I will own it for a long time. Okay, we're into the top 5. As I say, there wasn't so much any one metric that I used to rank these. How much I enjoy the smell, how much I enjoy wearing them, how much, I don't know if I want to say kudos for owning them, because that's definitely something when you get to like buying these things, because that's basically what I like to buy now, is like stuff that's like really like, I want like more rare stuff than I do like your common average perfume that just I can go out and buy any day of the week, you know. I like hunting for them, I like looking for them. This is certainly one of those. Another Chanel. This is Egoist Cologne Concentrate. I really love Egoist, but this is absolute fire. This stuff is so much richer, thicker, denser, more powerful, and yet it's not quite as nuanced and it's not quite as fleet of foot as the original Egoist, but it feels like it's loaded. It's pregnant with like this huge amount of richness that unfolds as you wear it. It cascades throughout the day. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Smell it. Smell it if you can, because it's absolutely stunning. Very, very gone. The prices are silly. It's better than a lot of stuff what's on the market today, as, I mean, most old style perfumes, but that's just a taste thing, you know. I imagine in 30 or 40 years time people will say they don't make blue fragrances like they used to, you know. They don't make like ethyl maltol stuff. When Francis Kurkdjian hops off this mortal coil, people will say, there will be people who say that he was the greatest perfumer ever. I don't believe it, but the effect he's had has been massive. And I feel that way about perfumes like, and perfumers like Jacques Polge and Rudnitska and Christopher Sheldrake, you know. It's a funny one. Anyway, that was number 5. Number 4. Number 4 is a very modern perfume. Well, it's not that modern, but it's definitely of this century. And I bought this right at the beginning of the year. And I mean, I bought this in January because Les Santas had a sale. I had to go back. I couldn't remember whether I'd actually bought this year, but I have. And this is Frédéric Malle's Geranium Pour Monsieur. And during the heat and the height of the summer, when it reached 40 degrees Celsius for the first time in this country, recorded history anyway, this was my staple. This stuff is absolutely incredible. Geranium, mint, dry, a little sweet, light, 15 sprays in the summer and you're laughing. Absolutely amazing perfume. This is unlike a lot of the other perfumes on this list. This is still freely available. I think this is I don't know, I think this came out in the early 2000s. It was one of the first ones from Marl. And just being able to buy this and just wear it freely with that knowledge is such a freeing experience, you know. I know it sounds silly, but you do, even when you've got a massive collection like this, you do end up babying some of your fragrances. But not this. Not this. This is a quality, almost like a cologne sort of thing. Apply it 3, 4, 5 times a day, you know, just freshen up with it. And you can see, I've put a huge dent in this. I've put a huge dent in it. I wouldn't be surprised if this was gone by the end of like spring and summer next year, which is unheard of to use a bottle up in like 2 years. 100ml as well. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. You know, very not discontinued, and thank God. Okay. We're into the top 3. Now, I've got to be honest, I think I have rated these by how special I think they are and how excited I was to buy them and get them and own them. And the kind of the collecting element, I'm being kind when I say the collecting element, I think the kind of like the kudos sort of thing came into play with like these 3, but be left in absolutely no doubt whatsoever. I absolutely love these fragrances as fragrances. And so I will start with number 3. Number 3 was another late arrival. It was pointed out to me by Spaced Out near the end of the year, and I got in touch with the person, found it and bought it for a bargain, £150. This is a 250ml Bois d'Argent cologne. The smell is glorious. I have another big bottle of Bois d'Argent that I own, but it's the EDP, and it's the first EDP. So this was the first formulation. This was the cologne, and then Demachy reformulated to an EDP in 2010, I think, and then it was reformulated again in 2017. And Bois d'Argent's actually one of the ones that held up better than the rest of them. There are some of them like Leather Oud which were just completely butchered. This wasn't. But I wanted this because it's the cologne version, and this is the type of fragrance I collect, you know. Original versions, old versions. This is just the type of thing I like. So I'm very proud to own this. It stays in its box, you know, like the other of the top 2s do. They stay in that box and I pull them out when I'm going to wear them, then put them back in, you know. They're not just at hand. These are in like rarefied air, you know. That was Bois d'Argent cologne from Dior. Number 2. Number 2 on my top 20 pickups of 2022 is a tester. But I got this. These don't come up for sale very often. And when they do, they're usually insanely priced. This was neither. This was not insanely priced. And it was a fragrance I bought from Sunny, again, my friend from eBay. And this is Jean Patou Pour Homme. Almost half the price of a sealed bottle. Absolutely loving it. The ingredients, the blending, the style, everything about it is exactly what I love about perfume. It is what I aspire my style to be like as far as my perfume collection is concerned. It is beautiful. Jean Curliot is the perfumer. He made he made all the Patou fragrances. And he made all the Patou fragrances up until like the mid-90s, I think. And I'm glad. And I suppose you would say I'm a man after his own heart, rather than he's a man after my own heart, because I love everything about the way he made perfumes. Absolutely everything about it. He was an incredible blender. He used incredible ingredients, and he made them in a style which I absolutely love. That old world, ye olde 60s, 70s, 80s classic French perfume sort of style. Never scrimped on ingredients. And even though this is a test, sometimes you've just got to accept that if you want the juice, you're going to have to get a tester, and I am not above that at all. At all. And I love this. So that was number 2, and for those who are eagle-eyed, you will know the big one that has been missing so far, and it is no surprise. This is one of my star perfumes. The rarity, the quality, the name, all of that stuff, that kudos sort of thing, you know? Fair enough. I'm not above saying that. I like owning this type of perfume that is not easy to get, that you've got to hunt for, you've got to wait for, you've got to track them down, you've got to be ready. That are quality, you know, very good. Again, the style is the style I like, and it is a leather chypre. It is from the House of Guerlain. And it is my original Derby. One of the other reasons I like this so much is the bottle. I sometimes ask myself, am I secretly a bottle collector rather than a perfume collector? And I think there's something in that. I do love these bottles. I do love the way certain bottles look. It's one of the reasons I bought the Herisse. You know, completely different to this, but still absolutely magnificent. I love it. You know, this is Chanel. This is Guerlain's take on Chanel Antaeus, on Kouros, on that IBQ deep, rich, buttery leather with, outrageously, this has got mint in it, and it just works. I can't explain to you, but it just works, like a little sprig of mint on top of a meal, you know? It just sets it off beautifully. Castoreum leather, a little bit smoky, a little bit dark. Careful with you. It was pretty dear, and it was expensive, but this has got itself a huge fan club. It's a little bit culty, you know. It's a little bit different, a little bit dark compared to what's out now, you know. Beautifully made, beautiful bottle. I love the fact that it's a big 200ml thing as well, you know. I would have preferred a sprayer, but I imagine trying to spray that bottle would be an absolute pig. So I decant it into one of my decanters and wear it like that. One of the reasons for buying a 200ml bottle as well is that I don't need to worry about ever replacing it. But yes, this is number 1 on my top 20 list of perfumes that I bought in 2022. There are many others, many others that didn't get included in the list, which are all great fragrances as well. But I had to do something and cut through a lot of them so that I could sell. I could list these fragrances. Jesus, I'm not selling them. None of these are getting sold ever. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you have enjoyed this mixture, this difference. It's a ram-sized video today. I don't know if he's done this video, but if he'd like to, he's more than welcome. My brother from another mother. So yes, that is it. Sorry this video was late. I'm still not fully back to full health yet, but I'm getting there. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I will see you all again soon. Bye.